GT7 1.48 of course brought with it as always 5 new engine swaps, and as you'll have seen from the thumbnail if you haven't already logged in anyway, well it's a VTEC party and a couple of them make sense. One of them I'm going to need some help from the JDM aficionados with because I really don't get it. I'm sure it's a reference to something but it's not a reference I'm familiar with. First things first, we have the Civic SIR2. The new Civic. As I said in my overarching review, I don't recall many if any other cars having an immediate engine swap after being added to the game, but you can actually drop the 1998 spec, so slightly newer, DC2 Integra engine into it, which is a pretty nice swap. You can get some pretty good horsepower out of the standard engine anyway, thanks to the fact that you can turbo it, but it's another one to consider. Then, sticking with Civics, you can also put a K24 Civic engine into the 1997 shape, so the pre-facelift EK Civic Type R, and also that same engine can go into the Civic touring car of the same shape, so that's a pretty cool combination. Unless I'm mistaken, I think that's the Time Attack Civic engine. I believe it is. It looks right on horsepower at least, and that keeps going because that is the main theme of this bunch of 5. 4 out of them are that K24 engine. The next one, speaking of Integras though, is one. Strangely though, it's the 95 Integra. So make sure you don't try and put it on the 98 by mistake because you'll be wasting your time going through the menus. The 95 shape Integra, as you can see, with again that K24 swap. And here's the weird one. The Nissan Sileti. We've had some pretty astronomical engine swaps for Silvias, and many of them tend to be V8s, and they're tremendously quick. This one having a K24 Civic engine is kind of odd. I'm assuming that's probably a reference to some kind of drift car, I would imagine, but to me without any context, doesn't really make any sense. So like I said, let me know down below if you are familiar with what that reference is, but it's an interesting mix. K24s, as I said, are the flavour this time around. I do like the fact that you can drop the Integra engine into the Civic. That's a pretty cool swap. I think it's a bit of a shame that they kind of stick to purely in-house engines for these Hondas. Something a little bit more out of the norm would have been cool, but I know that a lot of Honda fans like to stick to Honda engines. It's not too surprising. Plus, you drop something like a 1,000 horsepower V8 into one of these, you're probably not going to get very far because you'll just be wheel spinning rampantly. I will need to do a massive consolidated list at some point in future, now that we've gone through a few more of these basically. But for now, that's it for the new swaps. Of course, I'm yet to talk about the new Civic shown here and the other vehicles in the update, so stick around in the coming days for those. And until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, thanks for watching.